Good, okay. Let's get the show on the road.
It's ready to go.
We're ready to go.
Tom, can you get us open with your opening statements?
Deja vu. I'm saying probably similar things every week. You know, we started off terrific, first 15, 20 minutes, probably stretching into the first 30 minutes. Just thought we dictated the game, the tempo was good, attacking was good, movement was good, but then we don't score. You know, you're dominating games, you don't score. And then second half, it looked like we put a different team out of the park, same bodies but a different team out on the field in the second half, and the game was over within 7 minutes. And in reality, we were lucky to get away 2-0 at the end. So, and again, it's just down to our frailty. So for 10, 15, particularly 10, 15, 20 minutes of the first half, we pounded away at their goal, and they defended for dear life. In the first 7 minutes of the second half, our defending's embarrassing. Our lack of willingness to actually just simply defend is just so poor. And then we go into a malaise where nobody seems to be able to get the team, pick them up and get us back in the game. And to be honest, I would, for most of that second half performance, I'd like to apologise to the crowd for coming and keeping supporting us, because our team on the field didn't deserve that support second half. It was extremely poor.
So Jordan and Chris.
Coach, how do you explain the night and day difference between the first and the second half?
Somebody must have drugged them at half time. Did somebody put something in the water at half time? That's probably all I could think. Jordan, I wish I knew. I really wish I knew. You know, the game, I thought by the end of the first half, the game was sort of nicely balanced. We knew it was going to be tight. And then just suddenly there's 2 goals from, you think, well, where did those 2 goals suddenly come from? You know, and it's just, I honestly, genuinely, I do not know the answer. I don't know the answer. I know that we've got a whole lot of perceived star players, but to be honest, the second half was abysmal in every regard, and I'm lost. I'll obviously watch the video, see if there's any specific things, but you can't do basic fundamental things well enough in a professional league with a team full of international players. Then there's something wrong, and this was a huge game for us tonight. And I don't mind if we win or lose games. You just never know how a game's going to work out. But I didn't see anything in that second half to really give me much cheer.
We'll go to Chris and then to Michael.
Hey Coach, it just seems like they had a very powerful sense of energy in the first half. Second half, they looked like they were burnt out and played maybe 3-4 games in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, is it something with strategy or?
No, I mean, we did our normal sessions during the week. The team, we can't turn around here and say we're poorly prepared. I would love to say this happened maybe during the week or that happened during the week, which disrupted our training, or we maybe trained too hard, or we maybe didn't train hard enough. But that's that would be just a nonsense. The team, we've got good backup support. We've got staff that look into our training loads. We've got a masseur on hand. We've got a setup where players get the breakfast before training. They get their lunch after training. I can't turn around and say we're struggling because of this or because of that. There's absolutely no excuse in the world. We're playing. It was a cup final tonight, and you've got to turn up in the cup final. And if you've got big players need to turn up. It's as simple as that. And everybody else needs to turn up as well. And we did for 30 minutes. And then we go into, I don't know, we get into a malaise. I wish I knew that. I really genuinely wish I knew the answer. I don't.
Michael and Victor.
Tom, I noticed you called the team together around you after the game in the middle of the field. What did you say to your team at that time?
Probably similar to what I'm saying here. I basically said we just weren't good enough. That at times like this, Because what can happen in times like this is players start looking at, well, I couldn't do this because this wasn't happening here, and I couldn't do that because that wasn't happening here, and blah blah. And I basically said, what you guys need to do is go home and actually look in the mirror and see who's there first, and see what you could have done. And I just said, second half we weren't good enough, and in every aspect of our game. And I would like to be positive. I don't think I'm a negative guy. You shaking your head there? No, you're saying I don't think I'm a negative guy. I think I'm kind of, for a Scotsman, I'm pretty upbeat. I'm not like a Scottish Presbyterian, who, if the sun's out one day and says we're going to pay for that tomorrow. I think I've got a decent sense of perspective on things, but it was very trying tonight, and I just basically pointed that out to the team.
What are we doing with Shane in the back?
Coach, if at all, what did the physicality of Portland's team, I guess, what kind of effect did it have on the team itself? I know Kristen was obviously kind of on the bad end of some pushes and shoves that Portland had there.
But that's how the Portland play, and that's how our league is. And the reality of being a footballer, whatever at the highest level, that's a critical part of the game. And you can't get muscled out of the game. Or if you get muscled out of the game, you're not going to win games. And that, again, was partly what we were up against in there tonight. And that's, as I say, how Portland play. But you've got to get in, you've got to tackle people, you've got to get in people's face, you've got to put pressure in people. And, as I say, especially in the second half, we just didn't do that. And as I say, I don't know why. I really don't know why. But Portland are a physical team, as is North Carolina, as is Chicago, as is all the teams at the top of the league. So you've got two ways of beating teams. You either have to match that physically, or you have to be good enough footballers to be able to play around it. And at the moment, our displays have shown that we're not good enough to do either of those in a consistent basis for 90 minutes.
We're going to go to Shane and then to Danny.
Coach, second half, final 20 in particular at midfield, not 50-50 balls. Balls were played out of the air off the foot instead of starting a possession. Is that a fundamental thing?
Yeah. Well, what happens is, Shane, when things start to go wrong is that players start to lose a bit of confidence. They're frightened to take a touch, they're frightened to do things, so they tend to second guess themselves. They tend to get to things a little bit later than they normally would. And so you end up either taking an extra touch, or you end up being too slow to release the ball, and then you keep either getting caught in possession, or you keep ending up passing the ball away, and that's kind of what happens.
Go to Danny, then to Anna.
Coach, on a more positive note, the first 30 minutes, like you said, was exactly what you wanted. Without scoring a goal, could you have scripted a better 30 minutes without scoring a goal?
No, our first 30 minutes were great. We did everything that we can do with this team. As I say, our movement was good, our tempo was good. I don't know how many corners we had in the first 30 minutes, but we probably had about, 8 or 10. I can't remember. We put balls in the box. We get players on the end of things. It was really good. But the sign of a winning team is you've got to be able to do that and either score during that period of time, or have enough level of concentration, discipline, call it whatever you like, to then make sure you don't cough up cheap goals at the other end when the other team have a little bit of pressure. And unfortunately, we're kind of caught in that situation at the moment where we're not scoring, and then we're giving up really cheap goals.
Go to Anna and then wrap up with Jordan.
Coach, playing a 3-back is very, very physical, especially with an extremely physical team like Portland. Could the solution be to switch systems a little faster and playing the 4-back of the beginning of the second half?
Well, why would we do that? Because we dominated most of the first half. So the system wasn't causing us a problem in the first half. We did it later in the game because you're chasing the game, but that's because of giving up easy goals. So, I don't think it was the system to blame, because it wasn't like we played the system and we were all over the place. For, as I say, that for particularly first 30 minutes, and then for the rest of the first half, we looked comfortable in the system. I thought particularly Kristen Edmonds and Ali Krieger did a fantastic job against Tobin Heath and Klingenberg. They basically weren't in the game for the first half. So, you know, it's easy to sort of say, well, the system, we change this or change that. I don't really think, you know, if we can't organise a short corner, we can't get proper positions in the box for a ball coming in, don't matter what system you play.
Jordan, last question.
Coach, who on this team do you look to then to take charge, to take command, to make sure that things are going right on the pitch? Who if the players aren't stepping up, who do you demand that out of?
Everybody, to be honest. There's not. I mean, it's okay to say, well, it's Craig's job or Marta's job or Alex's job. It's everybody. It's not just. It's not one person. It's everybody. Everybody's got to step up and chip in. You know, it's not down to one person. And we've got enough experience for people. I mean, who does it for Portland? Who steps up for Portland? Tobin Heath, Christian Sinclair, Haran, Sonnet. You can name 5 or 6 of them. We need 5 or 6 of our guys to step up.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll bring in Ashland Harris next.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Ashland, if you could please get us started with your thoughts on tonight's game.
Tonight was a difficult one, clearly, and it was an important game, an important 3 points, and it's unfortunate, it's heartbreaking. I thought we had a really good 45 minutes, and then we had a really poor 45 minutes. These things happen, and we're definitely bummed out, and we made things now looking ahead tough on ourselves. So this is the path we've chose. So we got to deal with it, and we got to move on. So
Jordan and Michael.
Ashland, just being down on the pitch, in your mind, what was the biggest difference just between the first and the second halves?
I think the first half we were really committed to the game plan and our commitment to go forward, and our commitment to defend was some of the best I've ever seen. The unfortunate part about the game is if you don't produce and you don't put chances away, this is what happens. You know, we had them by the throat probably the first 10 minutes, and we just didn't capitalize. And as we, let the game wear on and wear on and wear on, the momentum clearly shifts, and we had one lack of concentration, and it costed us the game, and we just mentally crumbled. So.
Michael?
Actually, as someone who has the entire game in front of them to see, how do you sense that energy shift in the second half, and is there anything that you can attribute it to, and how do you kind of bounce back from that?
I mean, that's football, right? There's going to be ebb and flow in games, but mentally you have to be able to weather it. There's going to be times where we're going to have the upper hand, and there's going to be times where they have it, but we can't just switch off in those moments and, go in. I think it is difficult, to be so far away from the scene. It's hard for me to get in there and carry people when I'm so far away and I'm so isolated. And you could just tell the body language was awful, and everyone got quiet, and everyone, went inside of their own self, and it was destructive, and that's what you saw. And yeah, at this level, you got to be able to bring yourself out of it if you want to win games, because there's no game for 90 minutes where you have, especially in the NWSL, where you have full momentum.
Go to Danny.
Ashley, I know tonight was a tough loss for you ladies tonight, so how fast do you have to erase this out of the mind, knowing that you have North Carolina, you have Chicago, the next 2 games coming up?
I mean, yeah, it's easier said than done. It sucks waiting a whole week until you get back out there and redeem yourself, so that's what keeps us hungry, but it's also, you know, it's always, you know, there in the back of your mind until you get to play and enjoy it again. But we've got to learn from our mistakes, and just moving on and not going back and really evaluating the things we did wrong would be a disservice to us. So we need to dive into the film, and we need to pick apart the things that we didn't do right, and look at the things we did and what worked and carry that with us. But yeah, we now it's a must. We have to win all games if we have any chance. So there has to be some sort of balance moving forward.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Ashley. Lastly, we'll bring in Emily Magnum. Oh, is there?
Don't need more. One more.
Emily, if you could just get us started with your thoughts on the match tonight.
Yeah, I thought we started the first half reasonably well, and then obviously the second half we came out a completely different team, and yeah, I think we're all held accountable for that, and hopefully we'll go back to the training field this week and look to regroup and focus on the next game that lies ahead.
Jordan?
The momentum shifted from the first to the second half. As a player out there, what did you see? What can you attribute that momentum shift to?
Yeah, I think we just came out flat in the second half. I think it was a game of 2 halves, and obviously credit to Portland, they came out and capitalised on that second half, and we conceded off a set piece, which is really disappointing. And then again to concede a second goal. I think we had some chances in the first half that we did have to end up burying in the end. So.
Any other questions? No? Alright, Emily, can you just give us your thoughts on kind of how you shift the focus to North Carolina?
Yeah, obviously that game's now done and dusted, and we definitely have to focus on North Carolina. Coming up, we have 3 huge games left for the season, and the playoff push isn't over yet, so we'll have to treat every single game as if it's a grand final, and we'll be looking to do that.
How do you, as an international player, also look to kind of step up into a leadership role with this team moving forward?
Yeah, obviously to help where I can and what's asked of me. You know, obviously at the end of the day, it's a team sport, so we're all held accountable, like I've said before. But I think the challenge lies ahead against North Carolina.
Go to Victor.
What was the physicality like by Portland tonight? In tonight's game, I know Kristen had a few fouls against her where she kind of just got pushed to the ground. So what did you see from their physicality?
Yeah, I think it's just the nature of this league. I think the NWSL is probably the most competitive women's soccer league in the world, so we have to expect that, and obviously with the caliber of players we have, we obviously have to look to match that.
Okay, thank you.